What do a post hole digger and a bobcat have to teach us about winning more grants? Quite a lot, as it happens. Hello, I'm Maren Bass, and today I'd like to share a few tips that can dramatically uplevel your grant-seeking success. Let's start with a little story I call It's Not About the Post Hole Digger. Now imagine that you're attending one of my workshops on good grantsmanship. We just spent the whole morning going through the components of a powerful and compelling grant proposal. Now after lunch we come to the part where we talk about researching to find the right funders for our project. We need a good case example to work with, so I ask for a volunteer, and a woman in the back of the room raises her hand. She says, "My organization has a need and I'm having no luck at all finding a funder. We're a wildlife refuge. We need a post hole digger, but no matter what research tool I use, I just can't find a funder to buy us one." I'm not sure I heard her correctly, so I say, "You need a what?" "A post hole digger," she repeats, "and nobody wants to buy us one." Now, I've done a lot of workshops and I know a teaching moment when I see one, so I suggest let's just step back a moment. "Are you using post hole digger as your funder search term?" She says. "Well, no, that turns out to be too specific, so I'm looking for funders who make grants for construction equipment. I'm coming up with nothing. I guess it's just not glamorous enough for them." Well, I press on. "Okay, I understand. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? I think we may be onto something here." And she agrees, so I start out. "So Shirley, tell me something. You want the post hole digger in order to what?" "Dig post holes, of course," she says. "Yes, okay, fine. Dig post holes in order to what?" "Oh, well, to put up a new fence." "And you want to put up a new fence in order to..." "We need to expand one of our animal enclosures." So finally, it feels as if we might be getting somewhere. So I go ahead. "And can you tell us, expand an animal enclosure in order to..." And suddenly Shirley comes alive. She becomes animated and excited, and she launches into a story. She says, "Well, you see, it's pretty simple, really. One of our enclosures has been set aside for injured bobcats, where they can stay, while they're recovering from their injuries. But this winter's been pretty tough, and we've been getting more injured bobcats in than we're really able to take care of. They're territorial animals, they have a pretty big territorial range, and you can't crowd them. So we need a larger enclosure, and we need a post hole digger so we can build one." Now, can you see where this is going? I can, and so can everyone else in the room. Everyone except Shirley. So I pause and pretend to think deeply. Then I say, "So let's see if we've got this straight. You don't need a post hole digger. That isn't what you're really asking a funder for." And she looks perplexed. "It's not?" "No," I say. "The way I see it, the post hole digger isn't the end. That's just a means to an end." Now I'm speaking very slowly and very clearly. The post hole digger is just something you need in order to achieve an end. And that end is to create a safe and comfortable environment where injured bobcats can recover their health before being returned to their homes in the wild. Well, now you can hear the proverbial pin drop. Shirley's eyes get really wide and she lets out this big, "Oh, it really isn't about the post hole digger at all, is it?" Nope, the post hole digger is just the what. Helping bobcats, that's the why. That's what funders will care about. That's what they'll want to invest in. That's how you frame your search, and that's what you focus on in your proposal. We need, and you can help us with, a post hole digger in order to help injured bobcats. It's not about the post hole digger. So for me, that phrase has become shorthand for a very profound and high-powered concept in successful grantsmanship, and that is focus on the why, not the what. The question is, what are you really inviting funders to invest in? And the answer is almost never a thing, although that's what you want their money to be used for. It's almost always an opportunity. Too many proposals fail in my experience because we fail to excavate through all the in order tos to get to the deepest heart of what we want to do and why we want to do it. In the proposal, this is the section that's called the issue or the need statement. And the mistake I see over and over again is when the issue or need is framed from the perspective of the requesting organization, as in, we need a post hole digger, instead of from the need of the community, as in, injured bobcats need a safe and comfortable place to recover. The difference in impact is immense and yet requires just a slight change in perspective. After all, we already know what we want to do and why it's important, or we wouldn't want to do it, right? So I call this the motivating why. It's just that our motivating why gets covered over by a lot of how to do it logistical details. So what we need to do in order to connect again with that deep, heartfelt perspective is to excavate down through all the layers of logistics to the deep core at the heart of it all. And that simple phrase, in order to, is the magic key that will get us there. So I'd like to take you through a few more examples. These come from real life students who came into workshops with logistical, here's what we want to buy perspectives, but with a little help, we're able to use the in order to key to recover a deeper, much more compelling motivating why. So our first example, a senior center was asking for cell phone service for all their staff members because the staff members are often away from the center running errands or taking care of clients. That's the what. The motivating why, in order to assure that elderly citizens in need are able to connect quickly and easily with the people who have the resources to help them. Much bigger than cell phone service, isn't it? Here's another what. A historical society wants to purchase and rehabilitate a 100-year-old schoolhouse that's slated for demolition. It's an old schoolhouse, right? What's the motivating why? In order to preserve for future generations the opportunity to experience and learn from the rich history of our community. Gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. And one final example, maybe my favorite one. I remember this workshop so well. A volunteer fire department wants to go through the process of qualifying for national accreditation. It took a lot of work, but we finally got that volunteer firefighter to understand that it's not about the national accreditation. What it's really about is in order to assure the people whose lives, loved ones, and property we've sworn to protect that we are ready and able to do so. So in the end, it's always about the in order to, the why. The larger end we're seeking to achieve with our actions, the difference we want our work to make, the opportunity that we're inviting our funding partners to step into with us. The what is just the means to that larger end. In short, it's almost never about the post hole digger, and it's all about the bobcat. That's it for now. I'm Maren Bass, wishing you happy grant seeking.